Today we're joined by Hugh O'Sullivan from the Waterford Institute of Technology, where he's a marine environmental scientist. And today he's joined us to tell us more about his work on the Stream project. So hi Hugh, how are you doing?
Hi Sarah, how are you doing? Nice to talk to you.
Good. It's great to have you here today, and thanks for taking the time out to chat to us. So I'm going to jump in straight away, and I'm just wondering if you can tell us a bit more about the Stream project and the work you're doing.
Yeah, so basically, Stream is a project between three different partners. It's Waterford Institute of Technology is the lead partner. We've got Swansea University and we've got Munster Technological University as well. It's funded by the Interreg Ireland-Wales project, and Stream stands for Sensor Technologies in Remote Environmental Aquatic Monitoring. And basically, to break that down, I suppose it's a bit of a mouthful. It's Stream is deploying sensors, developing sensors. It's storing the data and it's making the data available on an online platform. So that's what the Stream project does.
Yeah, kind of threefold in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about increasing the amount of data that we can gain from the marine environment, but also presenting that data in a useful manner as well.
Yeah, which is great. And then, so how will you apply that data then, or how is it helpful to the Irish aquaculture sector?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, that's the most important thing. You know, with this data, you know, I think it's attractive to go and to get as much data as you possibly can, but it needs to be put into perspective for the Irish aquaculture industry.
Yeah.
And I suppose we find we've done that through speaking to different stakeholders in aquaculture, whether that's producers in shellfish, and asking them what their concerns are, and I suppose to zoom in Waterford estuary, there's been concerns from the Irish aquaculture industry about different environmental impacts on the producers, and they're concerned. There's a lot of pressure put on aquaculture from the surrounding environment, and I suppose everyone has their opinions on what that could be, what could be causing certain events or what could be having an impact. But really, it's not until we start gathering the data that we can build up a picture and really understand that marine environment. So that's what Stream is there to do. It's there to, help the industry and to help coastal communities to understand the marine environment, but also to have the data there and to have the information there to understand the environment.
I know it's great to just back that up, because I know everyone will have an idea of what's going on, and they're probably right, that their guesses are probably okay, but it's good just to back it up so we actually know what's happening.
Yeah, you can't really make assumptions on the environment. Like, no one can go out and say, well, look, I believe it's this, I believe it's that. These are the impacts. I think it's that guy. You need to have the data, but also I think there's a tendency there for everyone to expect one pressure to be the main thing causing an impact, and realistically it can be a combination of lots of different things. It's a complicated environment, and then you go and you throw climate change on top of that. It's almost impossible to decipher, but we stand a better chance the more data we can gather.
That's it. I know, because there's so many moving parts there. You can't isolate one thing and just say, oh, it's that. It's really important to keep on with that data collection. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sorry. And what stage is the project at? Tell me.
So the project now at this stage is we're at the stage now where we've deployed some of the commercial sensors, so the likes of the sensors that would be available off the shelf. We've been using that data and monitoring that data, and we've been getting experience with that. So from that point of view, we're gathering data, and now we're at the stage where we're testing the sensors that have been developed by Stream in the lab. And we're kind of trying to validate those, and then hopefully relatively soon we'll be able to deploy those sensors in the actual marine environment, which, as you can imagine, is a big difference because it's dynamic. You've got you've got all sorts of animals and plants that want to grow on these things and affect their reliability. You've got storms and weather that you've got to contend with, so you've got to make sure that the sensors are robust. That's the kind of stage we're at now, and it's exciting, like, because we're positive, like, that we can develop something that can add and help to solve the problem.
Which is great, and that's kind of leading on to my next question, was really just about how will these sensors compare to what's out there already, or how will they change the game as such?
Yeah, I think the tendency, like there's an attractiveness there to say, we're developing cheap sensors, but I think I would rephrase that, and I would say that we're developing cost-effective sensors. So, we'll be able to develop sensors that maybe can bring down the cost or increase the amount of sensors that can be deployed in the marine environment. But I think a big strength of Stream as well is we've got the ability to store the data, we've got the ability to analyze the data, and in this kind of area, we're hearing a lot of terms like big data and machine learning, and really all that means is we're trying to use these technologies to like predict and to maybe the best way to put it is to kind of simplify the data is actually what we should be doing. So even though they're kind of complicated ideas, they really should be used to simplify the data and present it to stakeholders in a way that they can understand it, and I think that's the difference of Stream. We're providing an entire package from sensors all the way in the marine environment right up to the analysis of the data.
I think which is really interesting, that sort of focus on the end users and the accessibility of data at the end point, because it does, like you said yourself, if you can't produce these reams of data if no one's able to interpret it, so it's really
absolutely. Like I'm from I'm from a small village in County Waterford in Dunmore East, and I know that it's all very well to develop technology and to come up with really cool projects, but if it's not going to get taken on board by the communities, and if it's not going to get used in a meaningful way, well then there's not really much point to it. So that's always been a focus of Stream, is stakeholder engagement and understanding the requirements of coastal communities.
It's that practical side I think is great. And so, and then in terms of your next steps then, so where are you going with this now over the next few months?
So I suppose next we're rolling out the sensor network a bit. At the moment we're testing the dashboard and we're just trying to make sure that there's no glitches in it. So when it's ready for users to use, we're planning on rolling out a few extra sites. But the main thing that we're focusing on really is the development and the testing of our own sensors, because that's really that's the key value of the project. There's lots of commercial sensors available, and they're easy to get your hands on. There's a fair bit of expertise involved to operate them, but what we want to do is develop our own sensors and develop the network and the analysis. So that's really our key areas of focus now over the next coming months. Yeah,
that's fantastic. It sounds like you have a really exciting time ahead.
It is, and like this is the thing is that it's what's needed. So we often speak about what's having an idea at the right time, and I think that this technology, it's time for it. Particularly, you can't separate aquaculture and you can't separate the marine environment. They're all connected. And with aquaculture being looked to produce such a large amount of the food that we're going to need and the proteins we're going to need in the future, aquaculture is completely reliant, like most forms of aquaculture, and certainly what we'll be looking to in the future, is reliant on the environment. So if we don't understand the environment, or if we don't protect the environment that we're installing these, whether it's finfish farms, whether it's shellfish farms, we won't have a future in it. And the more pressure and the more we demand from the marine environment in what's a relatively sustainable production of food, we need to understand, how the environment is going to have an effect, or how so we need to understand that really, and that's how we'll succeed, I think.
It's fantastic. You're kind of future-proofing the industry there, really.
Absolutely. And it's like it's a fantastic industry. I mean, obviously aquaculture, it's got its challenges, but like we're in a good place. Like the Irish industry, we're in a great place to tackle these challenges. Like we've got a really educated population. We've got a great industry. Like we've got everything on our side. So there's no reason why we won't succeed.
No, absolutely. And I suppose over the last few weeks, as part of these series, I've been talking to more and more people in the sector, and it's just the energy there it's really palpable. Like everyone's so into it, and they're driving for innovation and research, and it's exciting to see.
I think so too. I think there's a really positive thing happening in Ireland at the moment in the aquaculture industry, and I'm delighted to be part of it.
And it's fantastic, and the research you're doing is as I said, like you're future-proofing the industry, so it's so critical. Thank you very much. And I have to ask you, so if anyone wants to find out more about the Stream project and the work you're doing, so where can they go?
So you can have a look at our website, so www.marinestream.eu. and I'll send that on to you as well.
Yeah,
You can have a look. Twitter, our Twitter handle is @IrelandWhales, so that's @IRLWAL. And if you want to have a look at info@marinestream.eu as well. So I'll send all that stuff on to you. And please, if anyone wants to get in contact with us, we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what we'll do is we'll share all those details on the IATiP website as well.
Yeah, perfect.
It'll all be there. That is great. Hugh, thank you very much for talking to us today. It was just great to hear more about the research and everything going on, and actually to get your view of the progress of the sector and the kind of energy that's there as well was fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Sarah.
And thanks, and I'll chat to you again soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.